Hey guys, it's Jessii Vee, and as you can tell by the title of today's video, I'm going to be talking about another kind of creepy doll from history. These ones are called the Tiny Tears dolls, and there are so many eerie stories that I found about them. Something about dolls crying real tears just doesn't sit well with me. But before we jump right into today's video, in case you have not seen my last two videos, if you haven't, catch up. What are you doing? But I did announce that we just launched our Halloween mystery boxes, and also this year we are doing the golden tickets hiding somewhere amongst the 300 boxes that we packed. There are 3 golden tickets that are going to be available to people. The first prize is a virtual collab with me on this channel. The other prize is a personalized video from me, and the other prize is a handwritten letter and signed art print from me. So if you find one of these tickets in your box, will be a code on it, and you just have to email us the code to claim your prize. So this is going to be the last video that I'm going to be quickly unboxing what is inside our Halloween boxes. First, we have these gorgeous scarves. This one is the spiderweb one, but we also have one with bats on it, but they're both like silver and shimmery, and I love them so much. We also have 2 different adopt a gnomes that you might find in yours. One is a skeleton, one is a vampire, and I love how the vampire teeth are like sitting in between his beard. It's so cute. But I absolutely love these. They just sit on my shelf in my room and they're so cute. We've got a creepy Halloween notebook, and on the front it says peculiar and it says Jessii Vee. And to go with that notebook, we have 2 different scented pens that you can get. One is strawberry, one is black cherry, and they have sugar skulls on them, and I love the packaging. It's so cool that they come in these little like vial jar things. Love it. We've got 2 different Halloween light up bracelets. One has ghost charms, the other one has jack-o'-lanterns, but it's so cool because when you put it onto your hand, it lights up, and I've been wearing it. It's good for like Halloween parties or going out trick-or-treating maybe. We also have 3 different zombie stress balls. I've already opened this one because it is so fun. Watch. Like, I love like how their brains come out like that. I never thought I'd ever say something like that, but it's so cool. Like literally you can just like squish it all day and it feels like little slime bubbles or something. But anyways, these boxes are available now, limited time. They do go really quickly. I think it's one of our most popular boxes of the year, and I love this time of year, so it's also my favorite. So if you would like one, I have linked it down below. Okay, so let's first talk about the history of the Tiny Tears dolls. Tiny Tears was a doll manufactured by the American Character Doll Company. She was introduced in 1950 and was sold all the way until 1968 when the company eventually went out of business. Her distinguishing feature was her ability to shed tears from 2 tiny holes on either side of her nose when her stomach was pressed after being filled with water from her baby bottle. And she had what was called rockabye eyes, which is eyes that slowly close when you lie her down or when you're rocking her back and forth. It's basically to simulate like a real child. Tiny Tears was sold in a pink and white checkered dress or a romper with a baby bottle and small pipe that actually blew bubbles when you put it into her mouth, which is kind of interesting. You could also get her a cradle, which was sold separately. And Tiny Tears really quickly became one of the most popular dolls of the 1950s. She also apparently audibly cries and wets her diaper as well. So this doll was like very ahead of its time. And I'm pretty sure in 2022 they have these new and improved Tiny Tears dolls that burp when you pat her on the back and they call you mommy, but these new dolls just aren't as interesting to me. There's something about the old vintage dolls, the ones from the 1950s, that creep me out. And yes, I bought one of these OG dolls from eBay. You could never expect anything less, but it does look really rough and it's not her fault. The years have not been kind to her. I will show you her when she gets here. She's a little freaky, but we're gonna test her out. Okay, so the first creepy thing that I found was about these dolls crying blood. During my research for this video, I kept coming across something really creepy that was happening to people with their dolls. Apparently, the more that you used this doll, the more gross and like dingy it would become inside because you were constantly filling it with water. Some kids would even fill it up with like juice and other things, and it's impossible to actually clean out the inside of the doll. So all of this like gunk kind of starts piling up, which is really gross. So people were noticing that after years and years of owning this doll, instead of clear water coming out from its eyes, the tears got darker and darker, turning this almost brownish red color from the mold, from the buildup. So it literally looked like this doll was crying blood, which really freaked people out, obviously. And it didn't help that as the doll ages, the eyes begin to yellow and the paint starts chipping from its face. You know, the doll starts to begin looking like a full-out monster and it's crying blood. This is obviously not a combination that you want to have, and I'm really hoping that my doll does not have this issue when it gets here, but it might make a good video. So I found this creepy story called Tears in the Night because, of course, any doll that I talk about, something has to happen in the night, right? I found this post from a woman that is now in her 70s, and she said that when she was little, she had one of these dolls and had the strangest thing happen to her when she was sleeping. Now, she always used to play with this doll during the day. She absolutely loved it. She took it with her everywhere. But at night, her mother would always make her drain the water out of her doll down the sink so it wouldn't leak onto her bed when she was sleeping. And she always slept with this doll right beside her. But she noticed that every night, long after she had fallen asleep, she would suddenly wake up feeling like her pajamas were soaking wet. And she would see that her doll was very silently crying, and the tears were almost pouring down her face. She'd always jump out of bed and tell her mother, and her mother would just get mad at her and blame her for not emptying her doll down the sink before she went to bed. But she knew that she did. She knew there was something else going on here. Somehow her doll was still crying in the middle of the night. So after a few times of this happening, she wasn't allowed to have her doll in bed with her anymore. So she had to keep it on this chair on the other side of the room. But in the morning when she went to get her doll, she would always notice that her doll's clothes were damp, as if she was still sitting on that chair in the darkness crying all through the night. So yeah, that's definitely very spooky. Would never want that to happen to me. And then I found another story. It's called Dolls in the Garden. I found this story about a woman that had recently moved into a new house, and she was out in the yard one day trying to fix up the garden. The previous owners had left it an absolute mess, and she really wanted to plant some new flowers to bring like life to her house and to her backyard. And as she was digging, she noticed something very strange lying in the grass in front of her. When she got closer, she noticed that it was just a doll head lying in the grass in the dirt, and she instantly recognized it as the Tiny Tears doll. There were weeds growing out through those two tear holes above the nose, and she looked around a bit more and found doll arms and legs in different areas of the backyard, and she found this to be really odd. So she picked up the doll head, ready to bring it inside to dispose of it. But when she lifted it, she noticed that it was making this very strange sound. It almost sounded like a humming sound. So she brought the doll head up to her ear and realized that it wasn't humming she was hearing, it was buzzing. And when she turned the doll head around, she saw that there was a giant beehive built into the back of her head. So she dropped it, the bees went everywhere. Oh my goodness, this story grosses me out so much. I do think we should save the bees, but they still really scare me. Now I'm gonna be nervous that my eBay doll is gonna come with a beehive attached. Anyways guys, that is the end of today's video. If you want me to continue doing this series on creepy dolls from history, give this video a thumbs up and let me know, and also feel free to comment any doll you want me to cover down below. And don't forget, if you would like one of our Halloween mystery boxes, I have linked it down below. But I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!